Hey, what's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? Gracious good morning to you, good people. It's your girl KB. You know what I do, and you know why I do it. It is Wednesday morning. It's May 14th, and it is 4:38 in the a.m. And this is like part two of the video that I started with this morning. And that video was entitled Working the Kinks Out. So, again, I said I was going to keep this real raw, 100 autobiographical when I started doing recordings. And hence the preface. So I'm just going to dive right into it. I just watched another video this morning where a sister was saying, I guess she's at this Christian marriage forum. And she was talking to one of the facilitators of this forum, and she admitted that she had cheated on her partner, and that the partner has been very unforgiving or just kind of unresponsive, and I can't recall if she said they were trying to work things out. Yeah, that just took me to a whole new level. You know, as you recall, if you go back some videos, I want to say maybe 2-3 years, you'll see that I stated that this particular machination of my video productions have been born out of pain. And basically, I had someone in my life that was saying all the right things. Yeah. And was brutally dishonest. That being said, and saying all the right things, that the right things I wanted to hear, and, you know, appealing to, I've said this before, my sense of lust and what I wanted to have happen. And the real machination was nothing like I envisioned, and I ended up getting basically a two-piece in life, you know. And for those of you who don't understand the term two-piece, that's boom, boom. I got knocked down by life and my expectations of it. You know, I'm listening to the, you know, I appreciate yous, the I love yous. I always said, I don't want to lie, you know, about little, you know, here's that term, little white lies. A lie is a lie, but no, I don't want to lie. I want to be honest about. But again, brutally dishonest. If you can't be honest with yourself about who you are and what you do, if you can't be authentic in your presentation about who you are and what you do, or better yet, who you do, how do you expect the rest of the world to relate to you? That part. How do you expect the rest of the world to relate to you? And then there's this litany of stories about so-and-so who did X, Y, Z, so-and-so who's crazy, so-and-so who, you know, whatever. You fill in the blank for that one. And never looking at what you did to elicit the response. And why this person is now identified as whatever that blank is. And it's because of your actions. But when you tell the story, These things are inflicted upon you. You're the victim in your story. See, that's why you hear me talk about how I dislike living my truth, that statement. Because you're usually the victim in sharing your story. And if you listen to my stories and how I tell it and my struggle, that's why I call it Real Talk for a Faith Walk, I look at me and what I did and how I did it. You know, therein lies the lesson. Therein lies the change. Therein lies the healing. You can go on blaming and moving on, but you never did the work to understand why you got that response. And I spent a lot of years doing that, y'all. And each time, because there have been times, I'm sure I'm like many of you, there have been times where there have been crash and burns. Each time, I remove myself from situations to take time to heal. I'm not looking for any kind of individual to interact with me as a means of distraction. I'm sitting with my stinky self and healing. I'm sitting with myself in self-discovery. I'm sitting with myself waiting to hear God's word. And again, I don't always get it right because there have been many instances of crash and burn, right? I don't always get it right. But, you know, I'm unpacking baggage. I may have a whole new set of suitcases going into something, but I'm not taking the old baggage with me. I need to be clear about that. So, you know, I shared this story about watching a video. I got caught up in this algorithm of this one individual that's looking for love in this social media sphere. You know, this is the land of make-believe, y'all. Seriously, this is the land of make-believe. People can, you know, create, I want to say, imaginary lives and sell it to you. So please don't get upset when the reality kicks in. Do your work. Do your due diligence. And better yet, stay in your area, in your lane where you can do some reality testing, as opposed to on this platform where there's intangibles that you're hoping. You feel me on that one? Anywho, listen to the stories. Yeah. Listen to the I don't want to lies. And listen to what you're telling yourself to justify certain situations. Now, you've heard me say this as well, you know, my grandma, her voice resonates through me a lot these days. She would say, tell the truth and shame the devil. And I had to be brutally honest with myself in my healing process. You know, I went in seeing red flags. And I celebrated because I thought those flags were, you know, banners at the party, the circus, the picnic, the whatever. They were red flags, and I knew they were red flags, but I lied to myself. I went in because I wanted something. I went in because of my insecurities. I went in because of my lust. I went in because it was appealing. I went in because I felt good in that moment of connection. And then when, the red flags, the wind blew, the red flags started snapping and popping and hitting me, I had to sit back and think about it. Still, telling myself, whatever. And then when it all went left, I initially did not look at what role I played in it. I wanted revenge. I wanted to hurt because I was hurt. I went gutter. And that Michelle Obama, when they go low, you go high. Baby, I dug a basement when they went low. Need to be real about that. And I wanted to hurt. But God. I need to say, but God. We need to, and I'm saying we based on my experience, so forgive me. But I hear my experience in other people a lot. So I say we need to really sit and listen for God before we start telling ourselves that we heard the clear voice of God. If your spirit is responding contrary to what you're telling yourself, you are in disharmony and disconnect from your purpose and your calling. Now that's real talk.